summer evening when he walked through my door. Said his name was Irio, and he was looking for a lawyer. I brought him into my office, and we talked for a little bit. He told me he was going through a rough divorce with his ex-wife, and he had a kid. All he wanted was to see the kid, watch him grow up, be there for him. I guess it hit a heartstring with me, because I took him on as a client, and told him I would do what I could.
All right, court is in session.
Yay.
We begin by having the plaintiff or the plaintiff's lawyer present their argument and their complaint.
That's the suing. Okay. Greetings, everyone. That is blank. We are gathered here because my client, Mr. Irio, was wrongfully limited from seeing his child, and he would like visitation rights at the very minimum, but after reviewing several evidence, we believe he should get full custody. Irio, if you would please take the stand. I call Irio to the stand.
All right.
Ooh.
I don't even know where to start.
That's a suspect.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
All right. Just a few questions, Mr. Irio. So, to confirm for the record, you are the father of the child. What is the child's name?
Freddie Clucker.
Freddie Clucker. Okay. So, how often have you seen Freddie after your small altercation with Miss Dawn Explosion over there?
Since we've been separated, not at all.
Not at all. Have you had any prior court orders to not see the child?
No direct court orders.
No direct court. Okay then.
Threats to not see, or not threats, but just general, not allowing me to see.
Threats, you say? Okay, and just would you say you hate Dawn?
No, I do not.
You don't. So, if you had full custody, you would not be opposed to allowing her to visit Freddie?
Yeah, I would allow her to visit Freddie.
Okay, and would you say that you would try to limit your feelings towards Dawn from imprinting on young Freddie?
I think I kind of... I mean, I don't exactly know what exactly would happen.
Well, would you... let me rephrase. Would you
I'd say,
try to alter Freddie's opinion of Dawn?
Yeah. At least, in a sense, prevent any... I prefer not to say much about that.
Okay. And just one final question. When Dawn chose the name for Freddie Clucker, what were your first opinions?
Opinions?
On the name she chose.
It sounded like a very familiar name.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
For the defense, would you like to question the witness?
Before I say anything, first off...
We did kind of skip opening arguments, so yes, this would be a good time for that.
Hope y'all know. I like to yap. I have a bit of a issue, though. I don't explain things very well. I trip over myself, all that jazz. So I figured I should probably recruit a little bit of help. I think I'd rather my lawyer present my rebuttal.
Everyone, how is it going today? How is it going today? I hope we're all having a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon. What do we say we get some lawyering up here? I am here.
To be honest, I peed a little.
Jury, Area's
was
instructed
quite-
to not be a little in the jury's area.
Alright, Ghost,
Very
you
well.
gotta
Sorry,
go.
continue.
No.
All right. I would like to say that I am here to not only defend my client Don here, but I'd like to turn the tables a little bit, because if you'll take a look at Fractured General Chat, not only are we going to be defending against the outrageous proposition of Aereo gaining full custody, but we are going to be prosecuting Aereo for the following crimes against not only Don, but Freddy Clucker himself. We are going to be suggesting that he is prosecuted for the following crimes: animal cruelty and endangerment, criminal trespass, child endangerment, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and recklessly endangering another person, also known as the REAP law.
Objection,
All
Your
of
Honor.
these
This is
are-
a separate court case. We are here for child custody.
Nope. This is relevant to the child custody case, because if all of these are shown, which I believe they are very easily shown through all of the evidence we have put into the Fractured General Chat, then there is no way on earth that, oh, thank you, that Aereo should be given not only custody, but any visitation whatsoever for Freddy Clucker, my apologies. But all of this will be displayed in due time with our witness statements and with our overview of the evidence provided. So this is where we stand on this. Not only should Aereo not have any visitation, but he should be prosecuted for crimes listed and described previously. Thank you so much for your time.
Plaintiff's lawyer's objection is sustained. This is correct. This is a custody trial, not a criminal trial. You can present the evidence, but there will be no, this is an instruction to the jury, there will be no judgment of criminal activity on the part of Aereo, even if he did something obviously very, very goofy.
Does this mean we're going to be having a second
that
court
not-
case?
Well, I
We
guess
were talking
the
about
first-
trial chamber trial. We were. That was brought up. I think we know
Yeah,
our
I mean,
case
Is
now.
I'm a
the
fan-
criminal record not something we should put into consideration when making our judgment later?
If he has an existing criminal record, that can be brought into evidence, but a criminal proceeding would have to be something separate.
Okay.
Alright.
Isn't that
But-
a little-
As the defense lawyer pointed out, that evidence could also be relevant to this case, so you are allowed to present it. It's just that we're not going to pass any sort of criminal judgment today. Although I do reserve the right to, if necessary, bonk somebody over the head. That is the judge's prerogative.
To be clear, I would like to say we're not expecting a prosecution against Aereo today for any of these crimes. We would like to present them as an initial case purely for the custody case. A further prosecution for the crimes committed would be made later in due time.
Very well.
Told you he's a good lawyer.
I'm just surprised too.
So that was opening arguments, but you also have, because things got slightly out of order, you have Aereo on the stand, and it's your opportunity to cross-examine.
Of course, I will cross-examine
Speak
Aereo.
very legal terms. But I definitely know what I'm doing.
So, Aereo, as far as I'm aware of the story, which I've been going over the story with Don for the last couple of weeks or so, this is the sequence of events that I have been led to believe is true. And I will ask you to confirm all of these events as I go through them in order. First of all, you and Don met up in the desert, where Don is currently based, or somewhere in the vicinity. And the first thing that happened was you met Dawn with her cat. And the first instinct you had upon approaching Dawn was to axe crit the cat. You stopped yourself briefly as you noticed that the cat had a collar, but the first instinct you had was to crit the cat. An innocent cat standing a couple blocks off to the side. Do you have any objection to this, or is this something that you will admit happened?
Yes, I do admit that has happened. But I see that as you might have saw, that I refrained from actually hitting the cat, and in reality, I did not hurt it.
True, but with the evidence gifted, it is important to note that it was an instinct. It was not a logical decision before the axe crit was initially brought up, but of course it was put down. Later, moving forward in time, you threw a couple of eggs, which created, I believe, two chickens, correct? So you threw a number of eggs, and there were two chickens out of the initial batch of eggs, one of which became Freddy Clucker, correct?
Yes.
And I ask you, what happened to the second chicken?
I cannot recall. So
It's funny that you can't recall that, because the second chicken was axe critted by you, as provided in the evidence we have thrown in the fractured general chat.
There was another. I mean, I think he did something like that in season 1.
The brother or sister, we don't even know. We didn't have the opportunity to check the gender of said chicken before it was ruthlessly murdered by Ariel. Was axe critted and killed before Freddy Clucker even had a name. Dawn then, of course, jumped into action defending the second chicken, eventually saying, Ariel, if I give this chicken a name, will you leave it alone? And Ariel says yes. Now keep this in mind, because this is an important part of the plot. Later, of course, after a little bit of harassment and back and forthing, Freddy Clucker was given his name, a small temporary enclosure, and the story went on from there. Because right after that, Ariel came back and made more chickens. More chickens were created, and these chickens were still in the property of Dawn, so they were brought into an enclosure as well. And Dawn asked that she be able to take care of them, as they were, in a sense, siblings of Freddy Clucker, and they were in that environment. Now, Ariel, do you have any recollection of what happened to those chickens after they were born?
So what I'm thinking of, what you're trying to say is, there were two chickens that came out of that. They were, I recall them being both put into a boat at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as those chickens were created, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's about it.
Interesting you leave out what happened immediately after, because after this point, the siblings of Freddy Clucker, keep in mind, and again, we're not going to go into the details of prosecuting for certain crimes, but I think most of us would find it morally reprehensible to separate siblings, young siblings, early on in their childhood development. Soon after, Ariel did promise to leave Freddy alone. He did not promise with the other two siblings, which he promptly grabbed and leaded with a happy gast, similar to the one just outside the courtroom now, and boated them and flew them away. Those two chickens were removed from property, taken away from Freddy Clucker and from Dawn. Now, while all of this happened, there were a few other things that Ariel said that were on record, on stream, that you can view at your discretion. One of the things he said was admitting killing 20 villagers within just a few days of the server opening. 20 villagers.
Oh my gosh, here you.
Another thing was threatening to attack the chicken, placing cactuses next to Freddy Clucker, just seemingly randomly. After being requested that he distance himself from Freddy Clucker and from Dawn, breaking that distancing, admitting he had started going on a villain arc, as he quoted. talking about stealing items, later rolling up to Dawn's shop, what would eventually become the plushie shop, attacking her with a crossbow and robbing her. And then, soon after, actually in call with Your Honor here, saying that he did not want supervised visitation. He would not accept supervised visitation. Why is that, Ario? Why would you not accept supervised visitation?
I prefer to not answer. Question.
Oh no.
I think that gives you the answer that you can infer. So,
We never did the swearing upon the book again. I'm just realizing that.
Oh, we're past that now.
that's okay. We've got a pizza. That's what I'm swearing upon.
Are we
So-
doing this by Ontario rules, since I'm in Ontario and I was asked to be the judge?
Sure, let's go by
What
Ontario.
what
What's
are
Ontario rules?
Ontario rules?
Well, in this case, it means that Irio does not have the right to not answer.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
However, as compensation for the lack of equivalence to Fifth Amendment in the States, anything that is said in this court does not apply as evidence in future legal proceedings.
in future prosecutions. Gotcha.
So whatever you say here can't be used as evidence against you in a criminal case should one be brought.
So, I suppose we'll ask the question again, though, then. Why, Ario, would you not have accepted supervised visitation?
Why? You say?
Yes. Yes. Why would you not have accepted supervised visitation? I understand, to be clear, that your eventual goal is for full custody, with Dawn getting visitation. But in the case that Dawn has custody, why would you not accept visitation while Dawn was in the area? Doesn't seem so bad to me. I mean, there's no bad blood between the two of you, I'm certain.
Well, because at the moment I didn't trust Dawn.
And why is
Uh,
that?
Because in a way the way that I'm trying to go through at this is my actual father instincts may and actually have started to come through at this around these moments.
But they didn't come through for the first chicken that was born.
Well, at that point, I never had a child before, and I.
What? So you're deferring to lack of experience with parenthood, despite previous records. I would also like to mention that in the list of evidence given in the general chat, one of the things that Arios stated was he did not know that Freddy Clucker was his child before he had killed the other chicken and stolen the other two. He wasn't aware of the fact that Freddy Clucker was his child. So if he didn't even know, either he is lying and he did know, and therefore he killed one of his own children, or he did not know and has now decided that just because he is not allowed to visit or have custody of a chicken, he now must do it out of spite. So, with that, I'd like to end my time speaking here with Ario. I'd like to defer to the prosecuting lawyer some of my remaining time, and I hope that the jury is satisfied with the level of information we're gaining here. Thank you.
Alrighty then. So, one thing I noticed when listening upon the respectable pizza buff over here, he referred a lot to evidence that they had collected, and they so kindly, I will admit, I'm quite thankful for this, gave it to me before the court case for my own reviewing. And I would like to actually use some of this evidence. So one of the things I remember them talking about assault of my client towards the defendant, and I actually have some counter evidence where before that happening, there was actually assault towards Irio by the defendant. So if you would all look at, see if I can find it real quick. It's somewhere. Evidence number 15. And Mr. Irio, do you happen to recall shortly after, I believe, the birth of Freddy, you tried to sleep in a bed, and Dawn not only broke your bed, but also stole it and started running away. Do you recall this moment?
Yes, I do.
And in this moment, when you were chasing after Dawn to reclaim your bed, your property, she hit you multiple times.
Yeah, yes.
That is all in that case. The next, he mentions 2 other children, and when looking at the evidence, I believe it is first is evidence 12, where these children were placed into a boat, as you mentioned, and the next is evidence number 14, where they claimed you stole the chickens. Was Dawn at any point involved in the birth of these children? Because I remember you distinctly telling me Freddy was born at the feet of Dawn.
Yes. I did say that Freddy was born at the feet of Dawn. The only reason why now I'm thinking Dawn's more involved in this case is because, well, she's the nearest mother.
Okay, so her being nearby, you would say, might associate her with being the mother of these children. But you are without doubt the father.
Yes. I'm the one who threw that egg.
Okay, so it's you would say it's unclear whether Dawn is actually the mother, because these young chicks were not born in the same way Freddy was?
Yes.
So, that being said, it would be unclear whether these children are actually fully brothers to Freddy.
Yeah.
Objection. If I remember correctly, and this is going off of my memory, the eggs were taken from my chest, having come from Freddy that I had been collecting and storing over time. Therefore, my involvement in, at least for the twins, is a lot more than Ario is implying. And the lawyer as well.
I did see the video, but like the evidence, but what did
other
those twins
chickens
come from Freddy? Oh, so there were more.
The airlifted gas twins.
They were not Freddy's children. They were eggs from the same batch that Freddy was taken from.
No.
No?
They were like eggs. This was Freddy. Freddy
yes.
was a much older sibling.
Freddy was a much older. Well, yes, but they were of the same origin point, which was your egg supply.
Yes.
Yes.
Freddy. I think Ario, if I remember correctly, because I do want to be transparent. Ario did Freddy's egg. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember where Ario got it from. But the eggs that the twins came from were in my chest that he took out and started spamming.
And you didn't stop him?
That is the end of my piece. I actually do remember saying something about like not wanting stuff to be taken out of my chest.
I would like to object to that by saying, how would one stop someone from throwing eggs they have already removed from a chest?
Well, you could,
There's no way in Minecraft of doing that without attacking the other person.
well, that would be considered defending yourself, and not grounds for assault.
Precisely.
This was during
So
a
in
time
that
when we
instance,
were
she
having.
would have been able to.
This was during a time when we were having heightened verbal altercations. In the fact that we were already, there was already an understanding that this court case was going to happen. I did not want to do anything that might implicate myself as being dangerous or a bad parent.
Shouldn't you get here now? I'm
Regardless,
questioning.
the chickens were not born near Freddy.
I remember
Like, they were not in
right in front
his enclosure as was inferred by Pizza Buff.
They weren't in his enclosure, but they were close by, and they had been in contact.
directly in front of the area. Like, there was eye contact, and there was a...
The defendant is reminded that she is not currently on the stand.
Okay, well, regarding evidence 14, the so-called stealing of the chickens and trespassing, were you ever asked to leave during that time, Irio?
The actual getting the chicken eggs and
Yeah, like leading up
actually
to the
throwing
birth of
them?
the twins, did Dawn ever tell you to leave?
I don't recall easily, but I don't think so.
So you would say she did not technically have you trespassed, which would mean you were not trespassing.
It was before, I believe, the trespass has. She said I trespassed.
Okay. I feel like there was one more. I believe that will be all, Your Honor.
So we're done with this witness.
I do not have anything more to ask of Ariel.
Neither do I.
All right. Ariel, you may step down. I believe the plaintiffs are still bringing forth witnesses if you have any more.
I would like to call Dawn to the stand, Your Honor.
Very well. Dawn, please take the stand.
Wish me luck.
Why is it called a stand if the person immediately sits?
That is a great question, Your Honor.
I think they stand sometimes. They used to.
Oh, okay.
So, Dawn Splosion. May I call you Dawn?
If you wish, yeah.
All
I
right.
go by as many nicknames as people prefer.
So, just to ensure for the record, you are indeed the mother of Freddy,
I'd like to believe so, yes.
and you are the one who named Freddy Clucker.
Yes.
Was there an inspiration for the name you chose?
There was an inspiration.
Might I ask what that
however,
inspiration was?
I want to preface this by saying I was under a lot of pressure to come up with a name fast. I wanted to make sure it was a memorable name that would help Freddy succeed on the server, and I took inspiration off of other people's experiences in Minecraft SMPs by taking a name or concept that already exists and giving it a twist relevant to the child himself. So Freddy Clucker is based off of a very popular movie franchise.
Could you clarify who you named Freddy Clucker after?
I believe the character's name is Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh, that makes sense.
So you
I've been dreaming of
named
Freddy
your
so many
child
times.
after an infamous serial killer.
A fictional one.
An infamous serial killer.
Again, I was under a lot of pressure, and it was the first thing I could think of. Did you consider the name that my client had proposed before you clarified Clucker? I might need refresh on what that was.
I believe his suggestion was Freddie Mercury, the infamous singer who was quite successful.
That is not somebody I already had a familiar understanding of. Not that I know the other one much better. I just had not heard of the one that he has brought up before.
Have you heard the
As
song
well-
Bohemian Rhapsody?
No. I
You've
live
not
under a
heard-
rock. I think this has been
So you've
understood.
you've not heard any songs by the band Queen?
No, I literally live under a rock in the void, man.
We'll go ahead and move on from that. So you would consider yourself currently the primary caretaker for Freddy?
I would say yes. I named him. I take care of him. I feed him. I hired a bodyguard to protect him after this event. Put a lot of time and effort into making a house for him.
Okay. During the times of the event, could you describe where you were keeping Freddy?
For his safety, at the the first couple of days after getting him, I made a small enclosure for him until I could make a better domicile, which I have.
How big was this enclosure?
It was a couple fences with some
had that debate.
flowers. Some
If
flowers.
I've reviewed the
a
evidence
sign.
correctly, would you say it was a 2x6 box? Perhaps
Wasn't
against
a box.
the side
There
of a
was.
mountain?
It was two. It was two sets of fences. About that amount of walking space. With a. You could still see the sky, so I wouldn't call it a box. I would call it an enclosure.
A very
And
small
again,
pin
this was
for. You say temporary. How long was Freddy in this enclosure?
like maybe a week, 2 weeks. Again, I made that as soon as I was able to and I had the resources. I made him a house, and it is a nice house with a big balcony, a full yard where you can see the sky. I can show everybody if y'all want to see Freddy's living spaces for the past month.
So, how often would you say you actively fed Freddy?
Pretty much every time I've been on. And again, I've also hired a bodyguard who regularly visits him when I'm not on and also feeds him.
Have you confirmed that the bodyguard has done that?
Why don't you ask him himself? He's here in the witness stands.
We might get there. How often would you say you're on to check on Freddy?
I try to get on at least once a week.
Once a week?
At least.
So you're saying Freddy might have only been fed once a week?
No. Again,
Well, that's,
I have
you
hired
just said
hands.
you tried to feed him every time you were on, and you weren't. You deferred to the bodyguard. You couldn't quite accurately say yourself how often he was on to check on and feed Freddy, or if he actually
Usually
did
on,
that.
I'm on.
Occasionally on at the same time, you said?
He's usually on when already when I'm on, so
So there's a high
he has
chance,
been putting out multiple videos.
but you can only confirm he's on when you are, which is about once a week.
About.
Okay. So
I believe I can confirm for more because again, I do follow his channel and he has put out multiple videos.
well, people can make videos in a day.
You can, but
There's a wild axolotl.
Okay.
So at the time when Freddy, or currently up to this point, how much social contact have you allowed Freddy?
Whenever I have visitors over, I take them to see Freddy.
What about
mostly people?
other chickens such as Freddy? Have you allowed him to see other?
I have actually been working on getting him a friend. I just would like to. I was waiting for this court case because again, if this was to go badly, then that would be 2 chickens that would have been taken from me. So
Your
I
so
put a lot
your
of stuff on
claim
hold.
is you've not allowed social contact with other like creatures as Freddy because you were
You
afraid
are-
that we would
Objection.
take
This is a
them.
objection. This is a disingenuous argument against what Dawn is actually saying.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
this is related to the court case on how Dawn has been treating Freddy. Your Honor.
I'm distracted. There's an axolotl.
Would you like to restate your objection?
Yes. Objection. The argument that's being made is a disingenuous twisting of what Dawn's actually saying. She is not saying that she's keeping Freddy from socialization.
And I argue that this is
And also,
relevant
there's a
to
wither
how-
in the corner. We may want to handle that.
Oh, that's a problem.
Pizza.
Um,
It's working so far in the court, so I'm throwing pizza at it.
I'd like to ask for the jury to be quiet. So, can you RGB just get rid of that portion of the wither, just in general, and also stop it with the axolotl?
To
What?
to
Yeah, I
fight.
think this is getting
I like
into
axolotl.
audience tampering territory, or jury tampering territory.
And also, I believe that the jury attendance has changed. There is a Noodles who is, I believe, supposed to be on a jury stand.
Well, we have substitute juries just for a reason. So Noodles was unavailable at the start of the proceedings. I believe Ghost will continue.
So Noodles
Unless
is going to
Ghost
be
wants to
prosecuted
relieve
for missing
jury
jury duty.
They just lost it.
With the objection, however, I do have evidence, Your Honor, of Dawn's intent to social contract limitation against Freddy. But everyone could look at evidence 25.
Let me see.
It should be posted somewhere.
I should probably watch that. You said 25?
I'll make sure it is posted.
I don't see 25.
Just a second.
It's like
I
at
do. It's...
Ta-da.
But I think you have to listen to it, right?
You would have to listen to it, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand close to nothing right now.
I can't hear anything. This is so quiet.
It's
I put on
really quiet.
subtitles. It does help.
I can't hear anything at max volume.
Oh.
Also,
Well,
hey, I can't hear this.
in the evidence, Irio was unsupervised by Freddy and had some eggs. And Dawn specifically said, I cannot remember the exact quote, but she did not want any chickens with him.
This is false. The quote was actually from your own evidence. I don't want a ton of chickens in there anyways.
There was
I did
currently
read that
no
in the subtitles
chickens
too.
in the pen already.
Still, you are misrepresenting.
Well, I did say I did not remember
what
the exact
defendant
quote.
has said. That's a lack of preparation on your part. Jeez,
think this is
are you
great
a lawyer or
preparation.
not?
Your Honor, are you taking sides right now?
I do want to
I
say we
expect
gave you
professional comportment from lawyers.
we
If you
gave
want
you
to
all the
present
evidence.
yeah.
We had you. We gave you all the evidence that we had multiple months in advance.
Yes, and then I collected more, which is what this evidence is. Apologies for not remembering the exact quote. Regardless, you were actively preventing more chickens from being in the enclosure with Freddy, which is, in its own right, limiting social contact with other beings such as himself, which can affect a child. Heavens no, I have been like that. Get personal. That being said, with Freddy's whereabouts, would you describe your home environment safe?
I would say pretty safe. I've taken great pains to light up the area around his home. I have tested the fencing to make sure that intruders are not able to hop over it and get in. The only people who can get in are visitors such as myself, say maybe Sayo or Pizza, Noodles, just people who can like make a diagonal jump can get in. But since no actual like intruders are able to do diagonal jumps for some reason, they can't get in.
Yeah. What
I've got
about
a
the
double
rest
fenced
of your
gate.
base?
The rest of my base, yeah, any place where people will be walking, is pretty safe. Again, it's lit up. I have a shopping district, so I've been working to make sure that people are able to go in and shop without worrying about a creeper coming up behind them.
Alright, if the jury would please review evidence 23, it shows several large holes, or at the very least one large hole that Dawn herself had fallen in and gotten quite hurt. And I fear that a child such as Freddy might be more susceptible to holes such as that.
Objection, old evidence. That hole is no longer accessible from Freddy's
Still
house.
around
Like, that
during Freddy's time.
That was quite literally nowhere near him. And that was before the house was even finished. Of course, an unfinished house is going to be dangerous. That's why it's now finished.
Unfinished? You would house a child in an unfinished house?
Yeah, that's why he's not in an unfinished house. You're giving evidence of a house that is.
You just said he
that
was
still
in
the
an
process of
unfinished
being...
house.
No, I didn't.
You talking about how your base was unfinished, yet you were housing him there.
No.
Is that not what you just said?
No. My base as a whole is a collection of tents, as well as a nearby village. Freddy was in the safest possible area of that base. Once I made a house for him that is a suitable domicile, because, as you said earlier, a pen is not the best place for a child to stay long term. I made sure I built a house for him, moved him to that house once it was safe to do so, and completely child-proof. And I brought him into that house, and that is where he has been for the past like month and a half.
Okay. Well, it seems to be audio issues, so I am hesitant to bring up further evidence other than you. How would you say you feel about my client?
Honestly, surprised.
Prized?
This was not the area. This was not the area I've come to know. This is I thought when we brought back the original area, we'd be safe. Seems like I was wrong.
It was a false area? Oh wait.
Good friend, terrible parent.
How many are there?
Would you say you dislike or hate him?
I wouldn't say I hate him. Just mostly disappointed. I'm scared.
Scared? Interesting. Have you pursued legal action before this court case?
I didn't have a reason to. I had my own things going on.
Yet you were limiting Irio's visitation to Freddy?
Pardon? Could you say that again?
You were limiting Irio's visitation before this court case?
Yes, for Freddy's safety, because again, y'all saw the evidence. I don't want him near my child. Not when he can axe him in half.
Do you realize that limiting a parent's visitation is actually illegal.
It's illegal unless there is a concern for child's legitimate safety.
Yet Irio was around Freddy multiple times, and nothing happened to Freddy.
Objection, this is a fallacy. Just because nothing happened in the time that Ario was around does not mean that something could have happened if he was around for longer periods of time.
If my audio was working, I would show Miss Dawn's lack of aggression towards the father.
I don't lack of. Okay, so earlier, I just want to bring up, you called me dangerous, saying I attacked Irio earlier. And now you're going back and saying that I'm not aggressive towards Irio?
I'm hinting at possible
Either am or I'm
bipolarism.
not, bud.
It's
I am a little
you have
confused at what the argument is here.
They have
Do you have
claimed
doctor's note for that?
that Irio is extremely dangerous, and she very clearly says she doesn't want him around Freddy. Yet, like I said, I do have evidence that Irio has been around multiple times and Dawn has not showed any aggression towards him during the time before this court case, which hints at possible bipolarism.
Objection, we are not making a medical diagnosis of my client in a court case. This is
I'm
ridiculous.
not trying to diagnose, just stating that there's clearly something going on here.
Objection, Tyr is not a medical professional. He is acting as a lawyer, not as a doctor.
Oh yes, my client is great.
Speaking of doctors, Dawn, do you know of any doctors around your area? Or do you have a primary care physician for young Freddy? Would I take that to be a no?
Do we have one of those on the server?
So that's a no. You don't know of any doctors? What if Freddy had fallen into that hole that you fell into and gotten hurt?
Well, then I would administer medical care. I'd probably find somebody who has a brewing stand.
Are you a medical care professional?
I would really question the game if Freddy got hurt.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's only a couple ways a chicken can get hurt. Chickens do not take fall damage. They float to the ground. So that would mean somebody would have to
you know children, they surprise us.
Freddy. Yeah. And in order for somebody to attack Freddy, they'd have to be, they'd have to have had the intent, sorry, I'm babysitting a fluff. I am so sorry. One moment.
We'll take a very short recess so that the fluff can be tended to.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. That was very bad timing. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, they'd have to have the intent and the means. I have eliminated the means by making the house as safe and secure as possible from anything mindless that could have gotten in. However, the only thing that can get in are people like Ario, who might have the intent to hurt my child.
Well, how do you...
Which is why I've limited access to those I believe may cause harm to my child.
Do you have a list of these members you believe might cause harm to your child?
Not a physical one, but...
What are the basis for you deciding someone might harm your Freddy?
Have they, first of all, have they gone out of their way to harm something that did not really need to be harmed? Like, there was not really a necessary need.
Well, wouldn't that involve
that is the main.
Most, say, butcherers? Killing animals? I feel that's like the whole vegan movement, isn't it?
I said without a need.
Well,
if you need food,
we could farm.
You go off and kill a hoglin. That is for your food.
Objection.
I personally am not eating chicken this season because I have Freddy.
Objection. The plaintiff's case is trying to equate food production services to a personal relationship with animals in a father-son or mother-daughter scenario. These are two completely different
If
considerations.
the full basis between allowing people towards a child is solely based on the one person's intent and their reasoning is something is not harming something that needs it or is needed, and the food was the example, we can get food other ways.
Was Ario needing food when he tried to axe crit my cat?
Well, that begs the
I
question.
think it's
There are
the defendant's lawyer's
ocelots,
objection.
wild ocelots around. How would he know that it was your cat? It was clearly stated when he saw the collar, he stopped, meaning he had no intent of hurting someone else's pet.
There was a village nearby, but it was only like within render distance. We weren't standing in the middle of the village. We were standing next to the
Yeah,
lake.
so why would an owner's cat, like, just a random cat that he can't see a collar? That could be a wild cat.
Why would you kill a cat? Why would you kill a cat? I ask you. There's
Well,
no reason to kill
would
a
you
cat in
defend
Minecraft. It
yourself
is a
against the
threat.
leopard? They're cats.
Objection. This is an crazy analogy. He is comparing a house cat to a leopard.
They're
This is
cats.
insanity.
I've known people to house panthers.
Oh,
But was it a panther? Was it a panther?
It was a cat in the wild. How can you tell?
It was a house cat. It was
It's
smaller
still
than Don's
a
head.
cat. Wild cats can look like house cats.
So in this world, there are currently no panthers other than, house cats. So I think this argument is irrelevant.
Can you not turn an ocelot into a house cat still?
No, you cannot anymore.
Can you not?
Nope.
Ocelots cannot be tamed.
Still a wild cat.
Ocelots do not cause harm. I'd like to point that out.
Actually,
do not
yes,
attack
they do go
players.
after chickens.
They're more scared of you.
They do not go after players.
In fact, don't cats like run away when wildcats run away when they see or hear a player?
I'm not sure.
There's no reason to be afraid of them.
I don't live in the desert. I live in the plains.
There's cat planes too.
I've not seen a cat by me. Regardless, anyway, this is the last question. You mentioned that you don't really hate Irio, but did you not say, and I quote at one point, your heart might as well be when referring to Irio being a slime?
I did say that.
So,
However, I do not believe there's any laws against saying a comment such as that.
well, no, but that could be taken as a very offensive, and I believe my client did. And they're
We don't have free speech
arguably,
around here.
well, that'd be hate speech.
That still falls under free speech objection. This is under Canadian law. That would not be prosecuted for any reason.
That definitely
The
would not
point
qualify for hate
is,
speech.
you would not say that against someone you did not dislike in some way.
I was saying that. If you want to hear my reasoning, when you think about slime as an object, right? Like non-sentient glob of goo. It is cold as like an emotion. So basically, and it's also slimy. So basically,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's all good. It's cold and slimy, and that was basically I was equating Ario's actions to a literal glob of slime.
So you're saying my client is cold and ruthless, you described?
Not always, but at least in this scenario.
Would you consider a cold and ruthless father to fight for custody of his child?
Oh yeah.
You think just because he cares for them?
There are multiple reasons somebody can ask for custody of a child besides love. Trust me on that one.
Well, all right. Well, I lied. I do have one more final question. Would you, Dawn, say that you abandoned Irio?
I'm sorry, could you say that again? You cut out.
Would you consider that you abandoned Irio?
I would need more of a definition here.
Well,
I'm not.
take just abandoned as in the something that's left behind is the official definition. But like
We would still talk.
you abandoned Irio.
I would not say abandoned if we were never like buried, and we still talk. Like we still like interact. He's just not allowed on my property, and he's not allowed to see Freddy.
But we haven't finished the court case, so you shouldn't be able to just limit his.
Objection. This point's already been overruled. Parents are allowed to interpersonally restrict seeing children if they believe there is a legitimate concern of safety.
Which has proven that Irio has yet to do anything to Freddy. So the act of describing Irio being unsafe for the child is yet to be proven.
He literally
That is the
tried
purpose
to.
of this trial. So
No further
He
questions.
tried to
Your Honor.
murder him on the day he was born. I'm sorry if I want to protect
I-
my child from that potentially happening again.
I don't remember Irio actively trying to kill Freddy himself.
This was all given in the evidence I put in general chat. This is all.
And
this
in
is
that
publicly
evidence, he was around the child and seemingly just playing with him, roughhousing, if you
He
would say,
placed a
as
cactus
adults
next to
do
his
with their
temporary
child.
enclosure, hoping he would run into it. I'm
How
sorry,
can
Your Honor.
you
I got out of line there.
how can you
Yeah,
prove his
but-
intent was for Freddy to walk into the cactus? Maybe
Are
he was
you
planting
calling
trees.
the lawyer to the stand? You're not allowed to interrogate the other lawyer unless they are also on the stand. This is just chaos. And we all know that nothing unfractured is chaotic. Especially not in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I would like to prevent the
Definitely-
evidence of
definitely
RGB spawning an ocelot against that statement.
I would like to point out
Respond
this is
now.
not an ocelot.
Misspoke, axolotl was very close.
Do you have any other questions for the witness currently on the stand?
Nope.
All right, Pizza Buff.
All
your
right,
witness.
Don. I'm sorry you had to go through whatever that was. I would first like to state, before we start getting into my questions for you, that I believe the plaintiff's arguments so far have been filled with fallacies, exaggerations of truth, and half-truths. You can see for yourself the evidence provided. You can imagine the scenarios that both Don and Aero could be in this scenario, and I think we'd also like some clarifications on the actual facts of the matter when it comes to chicken safety and child development. So first of all, Don, I'd like to address the initial claim by the plaintiff that Freddy's initial temporary habitat was too small or not accommodating enough, and I believe they said it was something like a 3x6 block,
2x6.
something in that range.
Roughly.
What was that again? Sorry.
2x6.
2x6. 2x6. 2x6 blocks, which equates to a real 2x6 meters. And if we translate that to feet, you get 6 feet by 18 feet. And if you multiply those together, you get 102 square feet.
Objection, a chicken in Minecraft is just shy of 1 block, which is 1 meter. Which would make him... You can do the math for that.
Regardless, we are scaling this appropriately. Maybe a Minecraft chicken is double the size of a real chicken. However, the recommended enclosure habitat by the Freedom Ranger hatchery is 8 to 10 square feet. So we are comparing a size difference of 2x from a real chicken to a Minecraft chicken with an enclosure minimum requirement of 8 to 10 to 100. This is a 10x over what is required in real chicken coops, for real chickens, for open space to roam freely. So even Freddy Clucker's temporary enclosure, which was much smaller than his current habitat, would still be more than enough for the average chicken. I'd also like to mention, you said that you would feed Freddy whenever you saw him online. I assume that would be some matter of feed or seeds, correct?
Yeah, I actually have a variety of seeds. I've been wanting to get him more. I want to get him some beetroot seeds so he has a vegetable in his diet. But he's got wheat seeds. He's got watermelon seeds as a treat. I don't want to give him too many of those. Those are very rich. And then he's got pumpkin seeds.
So you moved on from an initial kind of regular feed to a more premium feed, a grower feed, something along those lines. Awesome. So I'd also like to ask you a question. How long has it been since Freddy Clucker's birth, in terms of real life time?
I would say about. I want to say 3 months roughly.
3 months. So let's say 11 or 12 weeks. Somewhere in that range. So starter feed is often given to chickens in the 0 to 6 week period. Starter feed is very simple. It is meant to get just some basic proteins into the chicken's diet, and then they go into grower feed, which is where they start to grow and start to develop for the 6 to 16 week period, which is where Freddy Clucker will currently be now. Now, chicken feed, you don't have to refresh or replace their chicken feed every single day. You can give a chicken a couple pounds of feed, and they'll go through it through the course of several weeks. In fact, most chicken farmers, most people who own chickens, have 10-20 pound bag of starter feed that they use for multiple chickens throughout their entire starter cycle. So the accusation that Dawn was not replacing and refreshing the feed every day is nonsense, because this has nothing to do with real chicken biology. This is just an appeal to emotion. That said, yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to mention earlier when I was being grilled, even if I'm not on every week, I actually have 2 separate chests set up that have the food in it inside Freddy's house that he has full access to, as well as water, anytime he likes. So when I'm not home, he can just get into that.
Yes. Yep. There is plenty of access for Freddy Clucker to access food, water. It is refreshed appropriately, if in fact not more often than recommended by real chicken farmers and caretakers of other chickens. So I believe that this argument. Sorry, who said that?
Can chickens open chests?
I mean, you've got a beak. Birds are pretty smart.
Birds are smart. Are you implying
if we're
that
inferring Minecraft law and physics, can a chicken open a chest?
This is irrelevant to the discussion. The discussion is
very much relevant. If you're arguing that there are chests of seeds that Freddy can actively get to whenever Dawn is not around, but is unable to.
Your Honor, we're being
open
grilled
a
by
chest.
the prosecuting.
It's just a simple question.
Objection.
Objection.
It's an objection, sure. But this is an argument to be had, not a objection of truth or about the argument itself. This is a new argument that they're proposing.
I will say, even if Freddy cannot theoretically get into the chest, I also have bales of wheat sitting around the chest. So
which is another type of grain. Yeah, and if we want to stick to full Minecraft logic, and say, no, chickens can't eat. You know what else chickens can't do in Minecraft? Starve. They don't have a digestive tract. So if you want to go full Minecraft logic, take it to the extreme. Take it to the logical extreme.
Cruelty.
Animal cruelty? Which what? What else is animal cruelty? Killing 20 villagers in the first couple weeks?
By the argument of Don earlier that killing animals is completely natural in the circle of life.
If they are necessary for items that you are trying to get food, you're trying to get food.
Well, we've been through several updates. How do you know that a baby isn't going to...
Your Honor, I'd like to end this back and forth discussion with the prosecution. I don't think this is getting us anywhere.
This does seem like it's become unproductive. Yes, I agree.
Thank you. Don, I'd like to ask, you mentioned that you hired security for Freddy Clucker. Is the security in this room here with us?
Yes.
And that would be BMA, correct?
Yes, BMA double OG.
Hello.
SVP, he's fully decked out.
Hello.
Yeah, awesome. BMA, I'll need you to come up to witness a little bit later. You're good right now. I just like to acknowledge that you are here and that
Yeah.
it's relevant that you are here, because I think it's relevant to say that the argument's been made that Freddy Clucker, it was irrational or even unlawful, is the argument made, that Dawn would try to restrict Ario's visitation to Freddy Clucker. But at the same time, the argument's being made that it doesn't make any sense that if there was real concern for his safety, why would Dawn not attack Ario? But then at the same time, they're saying that Dawn did attack Ario. There's a lot of contradictory claims from the prosecuting side. And all of
Is there a
this...
question in there for the witness?
Yes,
'Cause
we're
kind of testifying here.
We're getting to the point. The point is if there wasn't a concern, Dawn has explicitly stated that she did not wish to be violent, correct? You did not have any... You didn't have a
don't
desire
like
to be
that.
violent to Ario at any fundamental level.
Yeah,
So, what did you do instead?
I hired a bodyguard to keep an eye out on Freddy and just kind of keep things safe.
Keep the peace. Didn't want to have... Oop, I heard the... Oh well. So...
So the audience is instructed to stop building withers for crying out loud.
I have a hammer.
Been moment with.
Oh no, now it's on the wall.
So, the argument has been made that despite some contradictory claims of Dawn being aggressive, Dawn being less aggressive than she should be, which I find to be a ridiculous argument, but this is all irrelevant because Dawn took action to defend Freddy Clucker, even if she
Objection,
herself
Your
did
Honor.
not want to be violent.
The arguments against Dawn being aggressive and non-aggressive are being used in the same context when I used them indifferently. Dawn had made a aggression towards Irio after stealing his bed unprovoked, and then was not aggressive when theoretically she should be because her unwanted husband is around the child she's trying to keep him from.
Objection to the objection, they're not married. So that's false.
This was completely out of wedlock.
And she's still
And
trying to
also-
keep him from her child, but was being
Regardless.
non-aggressive towards it.
Your Honor, this can be very easily explained by saying that the claimed aggression moment happened right after Freddy Clucker was secured by Dawn after he was endangered by Ario. There was some level of stress
Objection,
in the
there is
scenario,
no
and I believe
excuse to
it's perfectly
physically
reasonable.
assault someone after stealing their bed when they're
Oh,
trying
no
to pass the
excuses,
night.
huh? No, I'd like to shut this argument down because if there's no excuses for attacking Ario, then there's no excuses for killing 20 villagers in the first couple days. of
Objection,
service.
my client has admitted that that is a false statement.
If
Yeah,
a witness may speak, I would like to comment on the alleged aggression. We have property rights, right? Like, we're, like, allowed to defend our property. If there's said a trespasser on it, right? Like, that's Canadian. Does that,
We're
is
under
that
Canadian law.
Yeah, it's a little bit more restricted than in the United States. Any use of a potentially deadly weapon is
So my
very...
hand would not be counted as a deadly weapon, right?
It's still assault.
Yeah, but
I'd
it's
also like
minimal defense of self, only necessary for self-protection.
I'd also like to mention that Dawn was not actually punching Ario. She was hitting him with part of the bed, literally hitting Ario with a
That's
cushion.
arguably worse.
With a
That
cushion?
that is an
You're
improvised
making
weapon.
the argument that hitting someone with a cushion. Sorry,
She
we have
was
to take
holding
down
a
the wither
full
again.
bed frame.
My apologies. Which wouldn't make
Well,
sense in real life, of
now
course,
I'm
because
curious.
you can't pick up an
Were you
entire
hitting
bed.
Ariel with the cushions or with the bed frame?
She was holding the full bed,
I
Your Honor.
can't remember.
And the
but
feet
the
face
way that
towards.
Wait, one moment. I have a bed. We can like test this out.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Let's
Wait,
test this out.
Honor, look at the bed. The feet are
Like-
facing down. When you overhand swing, the feet come down first.
But what way does it when I hit, right? What way
That
is it?
is
It goes
The
very
from
hand
much-
does
right
a
to the
circular
left.
motion. It's
The
neither
feet
up
are
nor
still
down.
down. You're doing a circular motion coming through. The feet
what
are
it
going to
looks
make
like on
contact
screen-
first.
It looks like the pillow, the top corner of the top left-hand corner of the pillow is what's making.
Yeah,
it
If you
slide
hit
back.
someone with a
Side up,
pillow,
you
they're
can hit
not
me
going to
if you
go
want.
back and take damage. But
I don't know, I've
comparatively,
had
if you
some
hit them
pretty
with
heavy
the
pillows.
feet, they are going to take damage.
I mean,
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's just coming. Hit me. Hit me.
I mean, I have to
Hit
say,
me.
even if it was from the side, it'd be hitting both the pillow and the frame. So
I
Nevertheless,
believe-
It's not
I think
canceling
for the
effect.
purposes of this these proceedings, I am finding that it is at least within a potentially reasonable ground for Dawn to have used what she believed to be the cushions of a bed to dissuade somebody that she believed was trespassing. If we need to have further criminal proceedings afterwards, that is something that can be discussed afterwards.
Trial and trial
Indeed.
chamber.
Trial in the
Indeed.
trial chamber.
Yeah.
All right. I do have a few more questions. Let me just pull this up here. Right. Okay, Dawn. I do have one question for you. Right after, actually, I'd like you to confirm this. The moment where you had temporarily captured Freddy Clucker to keep him from running away, scared, I imagine, from Ario, although obviously we can't confirm that. Was the moment where Ario placed a cactus before or after you named Freddy?
I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I don't fully remember, but there is video record of it.
Yeah,
and
let
if you
us
refer
check
to the
real quick.
video record, then you would be able to get a definitive answer.
All right, I'm looking, and in order, it looks like this occurred before Freddy was named.
Mhm.
So, not super relevant of a point, but I think it's important to understand for the sake of the timeline. In this moment, what did you think the purpose was of Ario placing that cactus?
There are two probably overlaying intents. One, to mess with me. Two,
True.
to have the chicken potentially walk into the cactus because it has no other area to move.
Good, good. So the two concerns were that Ario was harassing you in some way, and that he was endangering the chicken. Which, of course, immediately I assume you did your best to break the cactus and replace it with a regular block again, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, the idea that there was no potential harm done or potentially imposed to Freddy even before he was named seems rather silly, don't you think?
Objection, Your Honor. I've just reviewed the evidence, and according to the evidence numbers, which I presume should elicit chronology, the cactus was placed in evidence 7, and then the naming of the child came in evidence 8.
Yeah, we
that's-
said that.
Yeah,
that's what we
that's
said.
Which
why.
would but you also just said that he placed a cactus after the naming.
No, I clarified it was before.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Re-
he asked me
I-
if that was correct. I said I could not remember and to refer to the evidence. We looked at the evidence. That was not the case.
Yep. Okay. Right after that, you'd asked Ario if you named the chicken. Ario promised to leave him alone. All right. So, but of course we can't take a man's word on everything. This is the reason why we don't always trust eyewitness testimony. Why we have evidence.
Your Honor,
because
this is a sexist
immediately
comment.
what?
The term a man is often used as a general term for a human. Interestingly,
that-
that use of man predates the use of man as a male human.
Yeah, I would like to clarify that is exactly how I intended to use that word, despite the, I guess, the prosecuting attorney implying that for some reason that either I nor my client would be sexist.
In the context
feels like they're
of the
grasping at straws a
statements,
little bit.
in the context of the statement, the defendant mentioned we cannot take a man's word for anything in referring to Irio saying he would not.
I was not referring to Irio explicitly. I was
Did
talking
you all
about
know
people
that
in general.
man used to be a gender-neutral term, and it is only fairly recently referred to like a male biological human? It's actually very interesting. I know too much. I'm a nerd.
You and me both.
Fist bump.
Yay, phrenology! Yay!
Etymologies, solidarity. Woo.
Yay! Okay, okay. Anyways, so as I was saying, after you named Freddy, and I suppose we should address their argument that there's some malice behind naming your child the chicken after Freddy Krueger in reference, which again is a fictitious character. And I would like to ask, are you aware of the movie series Star Wars? Guys, the axolotl's dying.
Somebody get the...
No! We've had a death in the court.
What?
How did that happen?
It drowned because it in water.
They suffocate after some time.
They're like dolphins. They gotta have like both.
What, do we need to charge RGB now?
We don't need to charge RGB.
I would like to provide this evidence that my honor being presumably cruel to animals is not out of the norm on this server.
It doesn't excuse it, but all right.
Yeah, we're not doing anything about
that. Does not necessarily indicate a full social norm.
So it died next to Dawn, and since we're talking about
half of the server is
being
currently
next
here.
to each other, how does...
Oh, okay. All right. So back to the point at hand before we had a death in the court. You're aware of the famous media series Star Wars, correct?
I'm aware of it. I am not as I've dipped my toes into the pool.
All right. So you don't have to know very much lore as I do to understand this. I'm sure a spoiler warning, I suppose, but I'm sure you're aware that the character Darth Vader is also known as Anakin Skywalker.
What?
Yeah.
I did.
Gosh, inconsiderate, Budge.
I did say spoiler warning.
Being so inconsiderate in the courthouse.
So it is actually quite common in the cultural zeitgeist to name people's kids, real human kids, after that character, to name them Anakin. Despite the fact that Anakin in the Star Wars series turned into a villain.
Objection, Your Honor. In the Star Wars series, it is presumed that Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader were technically two different people after he was consumed by the dark side.
This is
multiple references in the
Your
script
Honor,
where he admits he killed Anakin Skywalker.
He was saying that
This is incorrect.
This is incorrect.
We may have
if we bring
The comics prove this differently.
Yeah, there is canon lore that disproves this idea. I'd like to shut this argument down.
How many universes are we putting into this case? Like real world, Minecraft, Star Wars?
I would like to know that as well.
I'm using this as an analogy for disproving the prosecutorial argument that naming people after fictitious characters, whether morally good or morally bad in their respective universes, does not have anything to do with the intent of raising these real beings, right? People can be named Anakin after Anakin Skywalker, despite him turning into Darth Vader, and there's no intent on the parents to turn their kids into evil space wizards. This is a facetious argument. And I'm sure, Dawn, just to clarify and get it in your own words, you did not have any intent to turn Freddy Clucker into a serial killer. That would be ridiculous.
Anything, the only reason I named him that was to make his name memorable. Again, it was inspired off of other
Absolutely.
SMEs that name things after something that's already popular and
Exactly.
put a twist that refers to either the nature of the child or the nature of the creator series.
And I'd like to mention that I'm sure many people, either in the jury or in the stands behind us, probably have named Minecraft pets and children in a similar fashion. This is not an argument against the motherly status of Dawn. This has nothing to do with the argument. Sure, you may find it a name distasteful, but again, freedom to do what you like with your child, with and however you please, or even if Freddy Clucker didn't like his name, who's to say that Freddy Clucker couldn't ask to change it, or maybe Dawn would change it at some point if it really does become like a social problem.
Not like I named him Tallulah does the hula from Hawaii.
Objection, Your Honor. If we're arguing about Minecraft physics, a chicken cannot name himself.
Chicken can't name themselves in real life either, Tier. Just go.
Yeah,
with
well, still, that proves my point more. The chicken is now foreverly Freddy Clucker, and it has been scientifically proven that names can affect personality.
And now we're kind of like towing the line of that we did in the last case about like if a chicken's not able to care enough to want to change their name,
then how would they know what their name is?
Yeah, we're kind of.
That sounds like
we're going into philosophical.
Like
we are going into philosophical territory when talking about virtual chickens. I think this is again a facetious argument.
Yeah, I think we should move on from this argument on the simple basis that I am a giant nerd about these things, and I have a degree that literally involves philosophy, and I will just nerd out about all of this and waste everybody's time, which
totally
nobody
fair.
wants.
Well,
totally
that's
fair.
That's good.
All right.
We should probably move witnesses then.
Minecraft is just a simulation.
Before we move witnesses, I have one last question for you, Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And this is to do with what happened soon after you made their temporary enclosure for Freddy. You were building in your shop. You were organizing things. You have your plushie business, correct?
Yes, it's very successful actually.
Awesome, wonderful. I'm assuming you're using the profits from that to support Freddy and his housing and I don't know, maybe education.
We'll absolutely do so.
Absolutely. So
I want to make sure that I'm well off. He's well off. Actually, I think I said this on stream. Just because I'm homeless doesn't mean my child should be. So he's got a house. He's got funds set up for his future. It'd be actually kind of neat to put like a college fund chest somewhere.
Sure. I mean, it's only been 12 weeks. I don't think most college funds start a little bit after that. But yeah, of course. So you are using this shop to support Freddy Clucker. Pretty obvious that this would be at least part of the reason it exists at this point. Now, there is a moment, if we look at our evidence, number 16, where Ariel appears outside your shop, fully kitted out in diamond armor and a pollinated bee head for whatever reason. Perhaps that implies that he had previously killed a bee as well. We may not know that. But then he pulled a crossbow on Dawn and shot her multiple times in her own shop, proceeding to state, and I quote, let me find the moment. Yes, this is a robbery. Put your hands in the air and give me everything you have. That is an exact quote. So not only is he attacking Dawn in her shop that she uses to support Freddy, but he is asking her to give her to give him everything she has out of her inventory or out of the shop that, again, would have been used to support Freddy. So if Ario really cares about Freddy's safety, about Freddy's future, why would he steal resources and attack the mother?
Objection, Your Honor. This evidence is spliced to make my client look bad. It does not show the aftermath.
Oh, you wanted to say that ours is spliced. You should take a look at the 9-second clips y'all took.
Objection, Your Honor. All evidence is spliced and should be nulled entirely.
Objection to the objection, Your Honor. That's a ridiculous claim.
I mean,
the evidence stands for itself.
Happened, so, you know.
The evidence stands for itself that, in fact, Dawn was attacked, and Ario did ask for her items out of her shop or out of her inventory. The implications there for either way. And it implies that there's no real concern of safety from the plaintiff. There is a concern for personal gain and a concern for pursuing whatever means they desire by any means necessary. And I think that this suit for full custody is just an extension of that philosophy. Getting what he wants by any means necessary. Thank you, Don. If you don't have anything else to say, you may return back to the chair. That is all I have for Don.
So we are starting to run low on time.
Closing
We have one
remarks.
more witness.
Yeah.
Notion to move
so,
to closing remarks.
We have one more.
I believe we've gotten everything necessary.
Well,
So-
the defense hasn't had the opportunity to provide their own witnesses. So
Sure.
I think we should move a little bit faster.
Yes,
Maybe a little bit less
this
speechifying.
this witness will be quick. BMA,
can't
if you'd like
type
to come to the
3%.
witness stand with me.
Yeah.
First, does the prosecution have any, or the plaintiff have any more witnesses that they want to call?
No witnesses from us, no.
Okay, then yes, please proceed. BMA, take the stand. Whatever oaths we're doing, I don't know.
I vow to be Canadian in this legal process.
Yeah, be Canadian. Oh yeah, be Canadian.
Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Coffee and
Canadian,
donuts
eh?
and ice skating or something. Oi. All right,
All right. So,
BMA.
Where's the poutine?
BMA.
all right.
You were hired by Dawn to be Freddy's bodyguard, correct?
Yep.
And have you been paid for your services yet?
No, I haven't been paid for my services at all.
But you have an agreement with Dawn for payment at the end of this trial and seeing what happens, either if you need further protection or if your contract needs extended or payment after it's all concluded, correct?
Yes.
You have an agreement. Wonderful. So tell me, were there any incidents where you had to step in as a bodyguard?
Actually, I think I remember there was one incident where I had to step in and try to keep like Freddy from going to the wrong hands of Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on when this happened and what Ario was attempting to do?
I was I'm trying to think what week it was.
An exact time isn't necessary. Just roundabout. Was it a couple weeks into being hired? Was it just a couple weeks ago?
It was a couple. I think it was a couple weeks when I was hired.
Okay. So what happened?
I believe Arrow was trying to take Dawn, try to take the child without my attention. So I had to step in and see what he was gonna do.
Okay, so you think that Ario, in this moment, was attempting to take Freddy away from Dawn's habitat that at this point she had constructed the proper home, correct?
Yes.
The real one, yes. So you caught Ario trespassing on Dawn's property.
Well,
No, that's not the whole story, but it turns out he didn't actually do anything to Freddy. Like he didn't even came over to Don's area.
Oh, so he had just made an implication that he would?
Yeah, I was kind of worried when he said it in in chat like one day.
Okay, so he made a threat to take
Yeah.
Freddy from the property, but once you presented yourself, nothing actually happened.
Yeah.
So I think this is indicative of the fact that the jury is very low. I think this is indicative of the fact that hiring you probably was a good idea.
Yeah.
And
I was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was doing a great job, like keeping Freddy all fed up when Dawn wasn't online. Like
Yeah.
I've always visited her area to check on Freddy and feed him and make sure he's taken care of.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Dawn has put considerable resources into keeping Freddy safe, and clearly it has worked out because potential threats have been quashed. This is threats, of course, are not immediate actions, but they are relevant to the court because an intent to do harm is not necessarily indicative that anything would have happened. But this is not the only case. Dawn, you have a couple of other things. Yes. So this item here, which I will present to the group, this is a sword. This is a sword that Ario used to threaten Freddy. He threatened Freddy, and he threatened other animals in the area using this sword. We had it in a bundle to protect against fingerprints. We will give this to the judge to inspect. And we also have this ominous bottle. You may remember that BMA, I'm assuming you spent a large amount of your time either near Freddy or in the village nearby, correct? When acting as a bodyguard. Yeah. In a village nearby.
Your Honor, may I see the sword?
It did trigger, I don't think it didn't trigger the raid.
Didn't trigger the raid. Well, yes, of course. That's why we have this. This ominous bottle was owned by Ario with a threat to trigger raid in the area as well. And this sword was dropped by Ario while he was on a happy gas, I believe, whenever he was taking the other two chickens using the happy gas. That sword was dropped.
Do you have
so
any
clearly
way of
during that
this?
outing? Sorry?
Objection. Is there a way to prove this?
It is in the initial VOD. I don't know if we got that clipped isolated, but the VODs are up on my anonymous VODs channel. If anybody wants to go back and check through.
Yeah, this is physical evidence that we presented over, and it is double checkable using the VOD. The same moment, I believe it was clip number 15. That would have happened in that particular moment. Correct, Don?
Yeah, sometime shortly before that, because
he had been messing around on the happy gas prior. Yes. So between these two pieces of evidence, these two material, physical pieces of evidence that have been taken from the scene, and the implication that BMA services really were actually utilized and taken advantage of. Thank you, BMA. You may return to your seat.
All right.
Unless they'd like to do any cross-referencing, but
I do have few short cross.
Okay, so BMA, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to go back up to cross-referencing. But I believe that all of the evidence we provided is indicative that BMA's job was very important.
So, BMA, when exactly were you hired by Dawn to protect Freddy?
Well, as soon as I heard this whole child custody case going on, I came over to Dawn's area and I wanted to know what was going on. and I spoke with Dawn, and she was like, I really need someone to be a bodyguard to protect the child during this whole court custody case.
Okay.
And so I decided to take the job, and I decided to do it.
Okay. And how
So
often
that's
would you say you were online to check on Freddy?
I was online for. I'm always online like every day.
Every day? And you check on Freddy every day?
Yeah, I check on him all the time.
Okay. If you could give a number, how many times were your services at a bodyguard actually needed?
As long as somebody was, as long as he wasn't being threatened by anyone.
So, how many times did you actually have to stop someone from being around Freddy? Or particularly Irio?
I would probably come over there and try to threaten them with a gun, or should I say a bow?
So you went to Irio and threatened him to come over, or not come over?
I did not come over.
But did you not say you would threaten him with a bow? How often would you have to stop Irio from being near Freddy? Like in the case you mentioned with Pizza Buff, you mentioned you revealed yourself as the bodyguard. How many instances in that scenario took
It
place?
only happened like once.
Just the one time? So you never really had to defend against Irio?
Yeah, I never had to.
Okay. That's all my questions, Your Honor.
Very well.
It wasn't me.
Wait, what wasn't you?
What?
Okay.
What do you do?
Why is there glass over by the jury now?
Okay, are you
I'd
worried
like
about
to request
that?
people to stop messing around.
I'll actually second this request.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I would probably not.
All right. Well, I believe if that's everything, B-Man can come back. Correct, Your Honor?
Yep.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right.
Appreciate it, B-Man.
Have closing arguments. Unless anybody else needs to be a witness.
I don't believe so.
Is it
Prosecution, do you want to flip a coin on who goes first?
Sure.
Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads you are or heads you aren't?
Heads I am first.
And let's see here. I'm getting the coin flip. It is heads. You are first.
Once again, good, probably evening by this point, gentlemen and ladies of the jury. Throughout this entire court trial, we've gone over multiple bits of evidence, and I believe in the end, we've discovered a lot about the past characters of the defendant and plaintiff, and within the court case, I feel we've probably discovered more of the current feelings of who they actually are. When my client came to me, the first thing he said was, "I would like custody of my child." And in his words, to me, that didn't sound like a father who had any ulterior motives other than being there for his kid. The second thing he said to me was, "I will settle for visitation." And as someone in society, I can account that having both parents involved in a child's life is significantly better than only one, regardless of who the parent is. There's several speculations and studies on whether a single mother household or single father household is better, etc., etc. In the end, most people just want to have, especially children, want to have both of their parents. So I would remark that my client, first off, has he may have made some mistakes in the past, as we all do. I know I certainly have. I have to live with them, and I've tried to grow from them. I would trust that my client is under the same mentality. And I will add, I've been to his estate. It is very nice and lovely, open range. It would be a great place for a chicken to, at the very least, visit and see and stretch his little legs. So I urge you to consider what is really best for Freddy, especially seeing as the evidence has not provided that my client has actually done anything to him and truly only wants the best for his son. That is all.
Etha, your turn.
All right. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we've seen a lot today about feelings from the prosecution. They've talked a lot about how they feel that Ario was shamed or unfairly taken from his child. A lot of feelings about how the arguments that have been made here are irrelevant because we feel that children should be with both parents in all instances. I ask you, does this apply to parents who are dangerous? Ignore the feelings of sympathy and feel sympathy towards who this customs is about. Freddy's brother or sister was killed by this man. 20 other villagers, a completely different class of creature, more intelligent than chickens, more active, all killed by this man. 2 other chickens kidnapped by this man. Now, there is something to be said about the desire to know both parents, and that is why we will say that despite us thinking that no visitation should be allowed, if the jury thinks it should be, we would like to say that this should be highly supervised visitation, not unsupervised, and certainly not full custody. Ario has shown time and time again to be a threat, to be dangerous, not only to other players around him, but to pets and children, even ones that he himself have produced by throwing eggs, which kind of counts, I guess, in this universe. So again, I'd like to just incentivize here that you take a look at the evidence. Overwhelmingly, the aggression, the threats, the danger all came from the prosecution. While Dawn here only did everything in her ability to protect her child, to keep him safe, to keep him fed, happy, and healthy. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have had all the normal proceedings. Now it's up to the jury to decide. I guess we have a couple of questions. First, who should have custody of Freddy? If it's not joint custody, then is visitation allowed? And if so, is it supervised or unsupervised visitation? And also, one additional matter I would like the jury's feedback on is what to do with the person who has been horribly abusing axolotls in the courtroom here.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I will leave that for you to decide. Does anybody have a
I mean, he's
water
going to
bucket?
drown again,
Yeah,
right?
I was about to say.
That's just case proof.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noodles.
Thank you, Noodles.
And he won't know. He will not know.
He will never know.
Okay.
He will not know who did it.
So these are the questions before you. Do you need to take
He does.
a recess to go make some or go debate?
Yeah, we
The
probably should discuss.
All right.
Yeah.
I would instruct you to go to the jury quarters to make your or to have your discussion, but it appears that we don't have any jury.
I was about to say.
Your Honor, the rest of the.
Oh yeah, hole in the ground. That works too.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna beat the basement gremlin. That is.
Oh, thank you
also
back. Thank you for that
architect.
evidence back, Your
Oh,
Honor.
that works too.
Don, if you'd like to.
I mean, they did
that
do
on
still
hand.
here, so we should
We're
go
in
to
a
another
Discord,
chat room
so
now.
it's not like it's gonna-
Does anybody want a complimentary? I don't know. Drink hat.
My resource pack won't load.
Oh, I
so
love
don't
it.
even
Oh,
know what
that. Wait,
is.
those are awesome. Wait, that's awesome.
You want one?
That is awesome.
I do
Have
want
it.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can have
please.
it. Here you go. You also want one, Noodles?
Wait, why
Oh,
was
this is
there
great.
why was there a firework?
It just fell in my inventory.
Hmm.
I think someone dropped it.
Interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Here you go.
Does
Does
anybody
anybody
need
else
food
want
while we're here?
a cup
I have
hat?
not been running
Nothing
around
yet.
enough to eat anything.
I can't even see
Um,
it.
Oh, that's fair.
All right.
You want
I'm
one,
just
Otter?
gonna take a quick breather.
Sure.
Oh, are we doing a recess right now?
Sorta.
Kinda,
It's
yeah.
jury decision.
Jury's
time.
making
I
the
forgot-
decision.
I forgot I was muted.
Oh,
I was saying to everyone, I forgot I was muted.
I forgot the jury was making a decision, and then I love that everyone's made a secret room for them because it's actually behind the wall downstairs.
Oh, it's literally just a 2-block wide hallway
It really is.
in the ground.
I just had
Oh,
to.
God.
I went down there to check and see where the jury went, and they used that little room. for
I
meeting.
I need to ask about the attendance today. Who's not on the people attending on the the
I believe
list.
since I made my own appearance, I will add my name here. I don't think I added myself.
I
You
didn't
have
eat.
Yeah, you
First,
kind of
middle,
we
and
kind
last
of
name.
made it hard for you to put your
Wait,
name
I
in
don't think
prior.
I don't think I put my name in.
Yeah, you need to put yours in first, middle, and last. Or
I'm
unless
sorry
you don't
that I
have a
wasn't-
middle.
Also, like, big shout out to like to Aero and Tier for like keeping the secret of.
Yeah,
MBA.
they knew the whole
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and I knew.
Right.
MBMA, yeah, for keeping the secret and letting us have like a grand entrance for pizza. We missed you, buddy. Nice having you back for a day.
It was good having you here.
Mhm.
Yeah, you should come
Absolutely.
more.
Sorry, I was late.
Also,
No
while
worries.
the jury is busy doing their thing, does anybody
It's
want
okay.
to turn with
It's
the
okay,
gavel?
Noodles. You were able to
Yes.
stay here.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, up here. There we go. Thank you.
I love that.
Hey! Oh, they're back. Okay, here you go.
Oh, they're back?
Here you go, Miss. Yeah, I heard Sapphire say they're back.
No, they're still in the VC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're still.
Maybe they accidentally opened voice chat.
Oh, yeah, they must
Accidentally
have. 'cause,
unmuted or
like,
something.
I only have it muted.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
In case anybody forgot to turn off the thing. I just
Because
let
some,
it
I feel
back.
like there might be a couple people deafened for some reason. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Noodles, picked up your.
Oh, come on.
Theo.
Hey, anyone
Yeah,
got a
Hey,
diamond?
pizza, thanks for coming on here.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure to be a lawyer again.
Does anyone have a Energizer real quick?
I have one on me.
I would give you one, but I literally have like 15 pieces of food and that's it. I have nothing in my inventory. Oh wait, I've got the drink hat, I suppose. I should probably
Yes.
take that off. Oh, they're coming
There
back.
They are.
Oh.
Alright.
I forgot to establish who's the.
Who's
You
the
know
grand
what's
juror?
funny is,
The jury.
guys?
Oh, we established that amongst ourselves.
Oh, excellent.
Hey, you know what's funny, guys? During this whole court, Emerald has been working downstairs.
Wait, really?
I've just been,
Yeah,
I've been watching
building.
all stuff down there.
Well,
Attention.
unpaid labor.
The jury has seen
Labor.
some things that we do not wish to discuss.
Let's not talk about the basement. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about them.
What is said in the basement stays in the
Do we
basement.
need
Oh,
to
we
start
just
another
didn't-
court
Yeah,
trial?
Okay,
what's
except
been
for
said,
the
Sayo?
decision made regarding Freddy.
Okay.
We have noted that one of the arguments made was that Freddy has technically reached a level of maturity regarding chickens. Given how long this has gone on, we would like request that Freddy be moved into a collaboratively built house made by Dawn and Irio in the spawn area.
So that he can
They
live
would-
on his own. That's the other thing.
He can live on his own, and both have full visitation rights to visit Freddy in his own house.
Okay. That seems reasonable.
And so it was done. Court case was over, and my client got to see his kid. And I must say, through the whole thing, I think it made me realize it's probably best if I retire from law work. I'm just too old now. Can't keep up with the youngins.